Much, and at the premiere last night of the blockbuster movie Selma, Oprah Winfrey talked to me about the enormous hack of CNN Pictures emails, and what she has to say may surprise you. Here it is. I have to ask you, as a producer in Hollywood, you hear what's coming out with Sony and all of that. What do you have to say about diversity in Hollywood?
What I have to say is, I would hope that we would not stand in judgment, in such harsh judgment, of a moment in time where somebody was hacked and their private conversations were put before the world. Because if we were to look at your computer and everybody else's computer, I try to write everything as though it's going to show up in the New York Times. But there are things that you say in your private conversations with your friends and with your colleagues that you would not want to be broadcast on CNN. So I don't know, really, the context of what all those emails are. I have had things taken out of context that I said, and I know what it's like to have somebody hammer and hammer and hammer on something that was taken out of context. So I cannot judge the executives of that company based upon one email. I would judge them on their record for what they've done for films in the past and what they've done for black films in the past. I don't think you can make a judgment on one thing.
Here's my opinion of it. I don't know if Shonda knows Amy Pascal. I don't know what was going on between the two of them, but I usually make it my business not to comment on information that is gained illegally. But in this case, I have to speak out about Amy because I've met her. I know her. If you look at her track record and her history of what she's done, there's a $100 million movie coming out called Annie with the little black girl as the star. That could not have gotten made without Amy Pascal, so I do not believe she's a racist. I think we all make stupid mistakes and may say stupid things at once or a joke here and there, but unfortunately this all came back to haunt her. But I do not believe that she's a racist. Absolutely do not believe that.
All right, joining me now to talk about all of this, Alan Dershowitz, author of Terror Tunnels, now available on ebooks, and also Carl Bernstein, CNN political contributor, and Sharon Waxman, editor-in-chief of The Wrap. And I said, did I say CNN Pictures or Sony Pictures? You did. Sony Pictures, Sony Pictures. You're shaking your head, especially during the part with Tyler Perry. Why is that?
Well, this is such a hard issue. There are free speech issues on both sides. The purpose of this hacking is to prevent studios from putting out controversial movies. Imagine the next studio that wants to put out a movie critical of Islam. Those folks are not going to just hack. Mm-hmm. They're going to engage in violence. So we have to protect freedom of speech on that side. On the other hand, we have to protect freedom of speech of newspapers and the media that want to publish this material.
Yeah. And Carl, Aaron Sorkin's New York Times op-ed calls on news outlets who publish the hacked material. He says they're morally treacherous and spectacularly dishonorable. Is he right?
I think he's right about some of the news organizations, absolutely, that we have an idiot culture. I've written about it for a long time with sleaze and misinformation, disinformation, manufactured controversy, gossip, sensationalist. It's the coin of the journalistic realm too often. Nonetheless, news organizations have a right under the First Amendment to publish this material. They don't have a right to release the movie of Annie in full and put it online. I think that is stolen property, and there's a Professor Dershowitz, I think, will tell you that there's a copyright issue there. But in terms, look, I've been hacked. I had the smoking gun publish my emails. I hate to say it's a terrible experience, and at the same time, I'm not going to sue the smoking gun. I think they have a right, as awful as what happened there is.
Sharon, you work for one of those news organizations. Your website, The Wrap, has been front and center, reporting the juicy details from these hacked emails. Will you continue to publish more material if it's leaked?
Yeah, I mean, we cover the business of entertainment. That is our core mandate as an entertainment news site. So this is exactly the day-to-day stuff which we cover. So it's hard for us to argue to ourselves that we shouldn't be covering it because the source of it is tainted. In other words, if someone, and this, we had a big conversation in our weekly news meeting, and I sort of threw it open on the table because there's a big ick factor. We don't like the feeling of serving the purposes of the people who hack this information. At the same time, it's very hard to argue that this material is not newsworthy, especially for a site like ours. It can move markets. It may affect the Sony stock. We're a business site. We cover who gets cast in what movies and when movies get greenlit. So everything that happens in the background of a making of a movie about Steve Jobs, which is one of the initial sets of emails that were published, is very core to what we do. So I think that I don't think that the sleaze factor is what comes into this, and I wonder about David Boies sending this letter, which feels more like trying to cover up something that is embarrassing for executives, and I do feel for them, and I absolutely have tried to guide our coverage by the standard of treating others as we would like to be treated if we were in that position. At the same time, the things that are newsworthy we cannot ignore.